Good afternoon, everybody. It's your buddy Choppadong. I'm coming at you with a hyper simple MLB breakdown for DFS May 15th. Good Lord, is May already half over? Oh, wow. Time is just flying by. But either way, I'm senior content contributor, editor, whatever you want to call it, dfsarmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things DFS. And honestly, you just would do yourself a favor if you came in here and you just gave us a shot, because we kind of combine content, tools, and coaching into a community that is really and truly dedicated to helping you become a better player. Our coaches will spend the time with you. You get to interact real time, ask questions, get feedback, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's no better way than to put this, grab the reins of this race car itself, the research station. I only show you the very, very tip of the iceberg when I do these. You can dive so much deeper if you're the type of person that loves nerding out on numbers. I do on occasion, but I've got a lot of different things going on, so I just hit the basics and rock and roll. And so that's what I'm going to show you today when we dive in. If you don't know where to find me, you can find me out on Twitter at Choppadong. I'm talking out there quite a bit. Honestly, there's a poker quiz for today. If you guys like poker, jump on in. Give me your vote. But generally just retweeting some stuff like our content PGA Championship is this week. You've got content research, coaching picks, all unlocked for you. When it populates and when it becomes available, you'll have access to it through those links right there. So go jump in and play some PGA this week. I'll play a little bit. We've got a swag tournament. If you sign up for our email list, our newsletter, then you'll get the link inside that for this week, where we're throwing a couple of swag bags and stuff on top of the winners. I think the winner gets one. Probably not top two places, probably just the winner. But either way, it's only about 100 people or so you can definitely win that thing. So why don't you jump on in? While you jump in there, I'm going to jump into the research station MLB. We're going to start talking about the slate in the hyper simple format, which is very, very simply stated. Pitchers, good pitchers, and then we'll find bad pitchers, because that's the offenses we will try to target those bad pitchers with and stack. And then who is the hot hitter inside those offenses that we want to stack. And that's just the way I play. And I typically stay to smaller GPPs, bigger leagues, and just don't worry about ownership. Don't worry about a lot of that kind of stuff. It's a very simple way to play. It's a frequently winnable way to play. It's a bankroll grinding way to play. Am I ever going to be a millionaire because of it? Nope. Don't care to be. I mean, I'd like to be, but I'm not going to go chasing those headache tournaments over and over and over again, hoping to hit the big prize, because I don't give a crap. I just don't believe they're winnable. That's my philosophy. And I know people win them every day, and you can't win it if you're not in it. But I'm just telling you, you could spend a lifetime chasing the bastard, and you could be a really, really good player and end up never winning the thing, or even getting super, super, super deep in them. They're so top-heavy these days that they're more suckers' bets than anything. And honestly, the way DraftKings is going with releasing some of their new contests this week and last week, they're getting worse and worse and worse. Why? Because the general public is stupid. And they will chase these little prizes and, I want to win $1 million. They won't think. A good, honest thought is split their heads wide open. If you stop and think about, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to win money, and you need to be patient. You need to grind a little bit. Take 80% of your bankroll and put it in those types of contests that are winnable. Take the other 20%, toss it at the big GPPs. That's fine. But generally speaking, don't expect to win them. Use them for entertainment value or whatever. And just think about winning in a more solid, more traditional, easier to reproduce sort of way. And do that every single day. That's what I preach. That's what I try to coach people when they come into me saying, hey, I've got leaks in my game. Help me plug my leaks. We dive in, and I'm straightening out your fundamentals. I'm basically boarding up your windows before the hurricane hits. That's all I'm trying to do. Bottom line, as we start with the pitchers, I scroll over to the K-score metric here, which is strikeout potential, and I sort it from top to bottom. And we can see Verlander, Maeda, Morton. Morton's not on my list for whatever reason today. I should probably put him on my list. Korbin, Eduardo Rodriguez, down here a little bit lower. Who else did I throw on there? Oh, it was Beeks in Tampa Bay. Verlander, Korbin, Marquez, Maeda, Erod, and Beeks, and probably Morton. I don't know why he didn't when I looked earlier today, but he didn't pop on there. And I'm using a combination of Vegas odds, that strikeout potential, and price. And so if I'm looking at price, yes, Justin Verlander is probably a cash guy, cash safe pitcher if you can roster a team around him without having to punt. 12K is a huge ask. 11K is bad enough on DraftKings, but 12K is a huge ask. on Fanduel, and I will tell you this: I'm stacking against him in a lineup or two tonight because the minus 300 out of Vegas is typically a jinxing type of number. I remember it from Clayton Kershaw when he was a 320, 340, 360. Those were the games he somehow lost. I don't know how. I don't know why, but I remember it. It's recency bias, of course, but it's stuck in my head. So I will have, honestly, a couple of Detroit stack or two, against Verlander. Probably won't work out, but if I was going to throw $1 in the single entry tournament, that's what I would do is do my Detroit stack, throw it in there. And maybe you do get lucky and hit it big. So I'll play that way too some, but I'm not with 80 to 90% of the bulk of my play. Kenta Maeda is my probable choice because when you combine his K score with his price, he's got a 536 K score that I looked at, a minus 150 Vegas odds, and he's only 8,300. He's also priced up on DraftKings to 9,200, so that price gap jump makes me like him more, being that DraftKings is a little bit more dynamic with their pricing. They play the matchups a little bit more. So that's probably where I'm going to go. I don't need to pay $4,000 more for Verlander. Verlander has, pitched 5 games with 50 Fanduel points or higher this year, but he hasn't hit 60 yet. And to hit 5X, which is just an arbitrary number that I like to see pitchers capable of hitting, he hasn't done it yet. So that tells me the $12,000 price tag is probably a little high as far as him being able to test his upside, get to 5X or 6X. Now, he's got a huge floor. So as a cash game pitcher, he's probably it. But in tournaments, I don't think I need him. I would go so far as to say I don't think he's going to be in the GPP winning tournament, in the larger GPPs. And so he's an easy fade. I'm not saying you have to stack against him with Detroit, but I'm saying he's an easy fade. Now, Kenta Maeda, 8,300, 9,200, like I said, is probably my second choice. I don't need to pay up 1,700 for Morton to get a little lower K score. Remember, this is sorted by K score. Patrick Korbin is in play for me tonight, minus 155, and he's not too terribly much more expensive, so I might take him in a couple of lineups to offset. I'm not intimidated by the Mets. Eduardo Rodriguez is interesting, but at the same price as Maeda, I think Maeda is better. So he would be an interesting GPP pivot for me in the order that I'm looking through things. And German Marquez, wherever he went, he's way down here at the bottom of the list. But again, same type of price as Eduardo and Maeda, so Maeda is the better play for me there. Although I guess you could consider him in play. At the list that I looked at, he was about second or third in K score, but it wasn't over a 500. And then I would go all the way down to a Jordan Beeks, or whatever his name is, Beeks, in Tampa Bay as the long relief guy. We've got the starter in here, whoever that is, and it shouldn't be. It should be Beeks as the long relief guy. We saw the beat writer tweet it out that that's who should get the bulk of the innings. So if you really want to take a gamble there, he's $5,500 on FanDuel, and that would sure be a lot of fun to play with in some tournaments or some leagues if you really wanted to target like the bulk of a Houston stack or the bulk of a Boston stack or something crazy like that, or even Atlanta with some of their more expensive players. These are the guys that are going to be in good positions to pitch well tonight, in my opinion. Now, the guys that are going to be in position to pitch poorly tonight, we find by reversing the DFS grade and going by ascending, and then this is just one way to do it. And I'm going to look for guys under a 30. So the top 4 guys on the list down to Matt Strahm. That means Houston, Washington, Texas, LA Dodgers are in good spots, in my opinion. Yeah, Milwaukee can blow anybody up. Tampa Bay can score really well, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's great. But Houston, Washington, Texas, and LA. What LA? LA Dodgers. Well, I got that confused with the earlier slate tonight. So let's go ahead and let's scroll down a list that I do like to look at. Sierra is another one. So if I look at the high Sierras, I see 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 3, 6, 7 are the names on that list. 1, Houston again. 3, Texas again. Underline those guys. 4, 5, 6, 7. Philadelphia's in a good spot. 6 and 7. Tampa Bay and Philadelphia. So they are in the good spots. So really and truly, I'm looking at Houston, Atlanta, Texas, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, and maybe the Dodgers. Those are the names that are on the list that I just mentioned. And Texas and Houston are on there twice. Atlanta, maybe, maybe not. Michael Walker should have a higher Sierra. Here's the other place I will go check. I'll run out to, whoops, didn't show it to you. Oh well. If you came over to the MLB tab on Roto Grinders and went to the first look article right here, popped it open. Super simple. Once this baby opens up, I'm going to scroll all the way down. And I'm looking for double blues. So I don't have anything on Gregory Soto, obviously. So therefore, Houston is probably in a good spot. Everybody seems to think so. That's fine. They'll be chalky. I don't care. You know, new pitcher making a debut or somebody has no history anyway yet. It's fine. Go looking at the other guys. Double blue for Texas. That's why I had to underline them. I'm underlining Houston, underlining Texas, underlining Atlanta against Michael Wacha, since Michael Wacha struggles against both sides of the plate here. And that's about it for the double blues because the Angels are on the early slate. San Francisco's on the early slate. Yes, I stacked San Francisco in the rain, hoping the game plays. Took a shot there. We'll see what happens. Probably stupid, but you never know. Point is, those are the three main stacks, Houston, Atlanta, and Texas, because they're on my list, and then when I double-check these to see who's struggling against, which pitchers are struggling against both sides of the plate, there they are again. So those are the offenses I'm going to focus on. So I go back to the research station. I go to my Trends tab. I sort by L7 WOBA. Who's hitting the ball and hitting it hard and getting results right now? That's all I care about. I'll watch plate appearances a little bit, and then I'll kick in and I'll say Houston. And then we'll get the heck out of here in about 4 minutes. Oopsie, that was Kansas City. Dang it. Not that, I mean, they're contrarian stack if you want. Houston, Springer, Marisnik, Chirinos, Brantley, maybe a little bit of Yuri Gurriel, maybe a little bit of Alex Bregman. These are all guys. Aledmys Diaz has been hot lately. If he's starting for, who's it, Altuve he's starting for, there you go. 312 2 weeks ago to a 392 now. That's a big jump. I'd be looking at it. And it's cheap still. I'd be looking at it. So that's like 5 or 6 names in Houston. You stack them up. You don't need to worry so much that Houston's the chalky stack because there's enough guys in there for you to pick from that are running hot that you're going to get some differentiation. And if you get the right combo of the guys that go off tonight, you're fine even though the rest of the offense was chalky. It's not a big deal, especially in the smaller contests that I like to preach to play. Atlanta. Who's over 400 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 320 to 385. I would probably take all the way down to Donaldson. So Donaldson, I would rather see instead of righty on righty, I'd rather see him pitching, taking on a left-handed pitcher. Donaldson, Freeman, McCann, Camargo, Culberson, if he gets the start. These are the names I'm looking for. Does it mean I'm off of Albies? No. Does it mean that I'm off of Markakis? No. Those guys are fine typically. They're a little cold right now. Markakis is a lot cold, but this is not something that I will shy away from, including in my stacks. It's just something that I'm not going to build my stack around. Meaning if I have 8 Atlanta stacks, I'm not going to have Markakis in 8 of them. I might have a Camargo in 8 or a Freeman in 8. Probably more like 6, but I'm not going to have them probably all in everywhere. So I'm going to try and vary those stacks up. I want the bulk of my lineups having a Houston or an Atlanta or a Texas stack in it, but I'm going to try and vary those stacks accordingly. Texas next. Hunter Pence coming down to earth a little bit over the last 7 days, but still looking pretty good if he gets the start today. Hey, if Khalifa gets a Falefa, whatever, Kiner, Falefa, whatever, if he gets the start, 294 to a 356 is a big jump. But the rest of the offense is a little bit cold. I trust them, especially if I see a Forsythe get the start because he's been one of their better hitters over the course of a month. Asdrubal Cabrera maybe. Elvis Andrus has been good early on in the year. Gallo is a double dong threat every time he takes the field. Chu is a higher on-base plus slug type guy. He's got a decent OPS usually. These are the guys that I'd be looking for, and if I was building Texas stacks, I'd take some. I wouldn't expect a lot out of them, so I'd probably cut it down. I wouldn't probably have 50% exposure to Texas stacks in my lineups. I would probably cut it down to more like 30% or something if I was building, say, 10 lineups. Maybe have 3 Texas stacks instead of 5. Now let's look at Philly and see if we can find anybody there since they were also in a decent spot tonight. Cesar Hernandez, hot. Gosselin, if he gets the start. Abdul Herrera, yes. Rhys Hoskins, yes. Double dong power. Real Muto, probably. 316 to 337. 259 to 337. That's not great for Bryce Harper, and he's awfully darned expensive still. Down to 4,100, but I don't know. And then McCutcheon and the rest are kind of crappy. I'd probably avoid these. I'd probably be focused on these guys. Go to Tampa Bay and see if I can find anyone there. They were the hot thing 2-3 weeks ago. But I see in Austin Meadows if he's off the DL. Last 7 days, okay, well, he's back. 7 days is his 14-day number, which means, of course he wasn't in the game a couple of weeks ago, so his 7 a.m. may only be 1 or 2 starts back. I don't know. I'd have to check. There's 13 plate appearances. Heredia, if he plays or starts. And then we're looking at Adams at shortstop, Yandy Diaz. Those are two of my favorites because they're usually pretty cheap. Diaz is pretty expensive right now, but Adams is cheap. Choi, not bad. Typically not a lot of power, but he's hitting for average, 280 into 392. Also is doing a little bit of damage with the WOBA. Avisail Garcia probably dropped off some. Tommy Pham's dropped off. A lot of these guys have dropped off. I'd be focused here. And then let's round out with the Dodgers, everybody's favorite offense. At least they think. Justin Turner ripping the cover off the ball. David Freese if he starts. Cody Bellinger. Alex Verdugo. Jock Peterson if he's facing a righty, which he's not. He's facing a lefty. Probably won't even get the start tonight. But that's who I'd be looking at, is those types of guys. Now, again, I would round out with other members of that stack, or I'd maybe only make it a 2-stack, and then I'd jump into another offense for 4 people. There's all sorts of ways you can play this, but these are the offenses I'd be focused on, mostly focused on Houston, Atlanta, and Texas. I'm going to go back into DFS Army today, and I'm going to watch for some of our cool new tools that are hitting the Slack channels as opposed to the actual website yet, because we're gauging demand and gauging interest level to see if we should make it a tool and put it on the site. And these are little graphics that are checking boxes. Okay, he does good here, he does good here, he does good here, he does good here. And the more boxes he checks, the stronger a play he is. And that has been really working well for pitchers, and we're starting to incorporate it with bats. I will also follow coaches like CG and Donuts, guys that are putting out MME type lists. I want to see who their favorite stacks are, because that tells me whether or not I'm on the right track here myself. I'm a consensus guy. I like multiple opinions pointing to the same direction. That's why I eat chalk. But I play in smaller contests and cash games where I don't care if I eat chalk, because chalk pays. It doesn't win massive lottery ticket GPPs, but in the smaller stuff, it pays. Because it doesn't pay to take a wild risk and turn $1 into $2. I'd want to turn $1 into $100 if I was going to take that crazy risk. So I will play in some of those smaller or those other tournaments with funky ideas like a Detroit stack tonight. But the bulk of my play, 80 to 90% of my play, like I said earlier, is going to be in cash games, big leagues, small GPPs, things like that, where I can afford to be chalky, play the odds, play the smarter plays, play the safer plays, and just watch it all happen. If you like playing like me, you hit like, you hit subscribe, you ring the notification bell on this thing, you go into the comments section, and you contemplate becoming a VIP inside DFSArmy.com. Because it's your one-stop shop for everything, from NASCAR to PGA to MMA to anything in between. And we've got all that free content unlocked for you in the PGA room this week. So why don't you come in and check us out? I'll be in here waiting for you. If you decide to become a member, use that coupon code CHOP, knock that 20% discount off, CHOP, and I will see you in the coaching channels when you decide to come in and ask me some questions in there. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you guys here real soon.